Let's Dancing. He's ready for the new year here in the studio, feeling good. Yurko will be back on Friday. We're all off tomorrow here locally. We're sending into bowl coverage coming up next. But then on Friday, Shay and Pat, the designer, will lead off your morning in for Cap and Hood. That's you.
I'll be here.
Jesse and Yurko will go from 9 a.m. to noon, and then Waddle's in with Tyler in the Waddle and Sylvie slot from 3 to 6:30 p.m. So we've got a full day of programming for you back on Friday as well. Right now, we bring in Courtney Cronin covering the Bears on the Yingling Guest Hotline. She's brought to you by Costa Ivoni. Injured, call 708-4million for the people of Chicago because they are Chicago. Costa Ivoni, your local personal injury lawyers. Happy New Year, Courtney. Any big plans for the New Year's Eve holiday?
You know, I'm going to be in New York, actually, tonight, but I will not be going to see the ball drop because I have to be up for Unsportsmanlike. I think usually wake up around like 3:30 for that, so there will be no I will not see New Year's until tomorrow morning when I wake up, but it's not that far removed from midnight, so I can basically like fake celebrate, like, oh, the New Year just happened, even though it'll be like 3 hours old at that point. But I don't know. I've never been a huge New Year's person. Ever since Y2K ruined it for me, it's just not my holiday.
Yeah, you see, you don't understand the fear that we went through. There was a real thought that, like, oh, it's all going to end. And I remember going to sleep on Scooby-Doo, like, we'll see if 2000 happens here.
Yeah, I didn't experience
You weren't there.
That.
You
I
weren't
wasn't there for that.
It was just
no.
tear and a lot of canned food, Jack. A lot of canned food.
Am I lame? 2 years ago, I was, I was at the point where I should be going out. I fell asleep before midnight.
It happens. But once you get past, it's overrated. It's the holiday where everybody goes out. The people who usually don't go out, who shouldn't be going out, are the people who are out. So I think the best way to celebrate New Year's is watch the game tonight, Ohio State, Miami, go to bed right after.
Courtney, we were talking a little bit about Luther Burden and how he's got a chance if he outgains DJ Moore by 54 yards in this next game to be the Bears' leading wide receiver on the season. He's transformed that offense, and something Pat and I were talking about was how he definitely knows the playbook now, and Ben's talked about how he's unleashed a full set of plays. How have you kind of seen the difference in how the Bears have been using Luther Burden recently?
Well, the Roma Dunze gave him Roma Dunze injury gave him a big opportunity to get some snaps that he might not have otherwise. He might have been out there, but those targets are coming his way, and he's earned it because he knows the offense. You can go back to a point in training camp where Caleb Williams is frantically, waving him to get to the other side of the formation because he was lined up wrong, and that's understandable as a rookie's learning an NFL route tree, how to run routes specific to this offense. It was a lot, and it took him a while to come on after he had that soft tissue injury that kept him out, all of the spring off season, and he was playing from behind, but you see the talent right away. You see why a lot of people, including himself, thought he would have been a first-round pick, and the Bears benefited from him dropping to 39 because they were able to get somebody who can play some really important, meaningful snaps for them when their top two guys aren't able to play for a multitude of reasons. I mean, DJ clearly wasn't 100% from the illness this past week, and without Roma Dunze the last four, it's opened up a chance for this coaching staff to get an evaluation on losers that, frankly, they might not have otherwise had Dunze been healthy for the games that he wasn't, and had DJ and Caleb Williams and their chemistry come on earlier than it did a couple weeks ago. So I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for this offense that they have that opportunity to get more snaps, more tape on Luther Burden and know just what the future holds at that position.
Courtney, let's cover this as a blanket conversation defensively. The defense has struggled, and there's a couple of names out there that people have talked about. Trayvon Diggs, the big one yesterday, getting released because of the relationship with Al Harris. We've heard Matt Judon be talked about a couple of times because of the struggles at pass rush. In your mind, are the Bears in the market to add anybody to this defense as they get ready for a final week here and heading into the playoffs, or do we need to put all of these rumors to bed and just kind of say you're going into the playoffs with who you have?
It's probably easier to do the latter just because, on the back end of their defense right now, they are about as healthy as they've been. Does adding Trayvon Diggs take the Bears over the top? They don't. I mean, the issue isn't really a corner for them. Can Trayvon Diggs rush the passer? I mean, that would be my number one question that you'd ask if a player like that is available and you're looking at potentially adding. I don't know. I don't think that they would do anything right now. Obviously, the number one priority this offseason, free agency, first-round draft pick, is finding edge help because they need it. Pass rush is a problem, as we saw from the shootout that they got in, and that could be the way that some of these games go in the playoffs to make it past the wild card round, that they're going to have to score a lot of points to win these games and to contend in these games. We know they can do that. It's just you don't want to constantly be in that situation. Matthew Judon doesn't have history in the system, so that would be – it's not like it's a player that was on another team that gets released or still out there and then just looking for a spot to finish out on a team that's contending. I think if it would have happened, it would have happened by now, so I don't see that one happening.
Do you think Ben Johnson makes it a priority this weekend to get Caleb Williams to 4,000 passing yards on the season?
He's going to say no. I know that he'll be asked about it today. He's going to say no. But I kind of find it hard to believe. I mean, especially last week. They ran the ball 5 times in the first half. And, yes, part of that is because it was a shootout. They felt that they needed to keep pace with the San Francisco 49ers. And the first down is for early downs, and then the second and long, what Ben Johnson said the other day, just based on how they got to this point, like it felt like that's what they had to do. I also tend to have felt like in that game there was more than just a little bit of an effort to get Caleb's numbers up. And, I mean, he did it on his own. Like, I think truly those big shot plays, 35, 36-yard touchdowns to Luther Burden and Colston Loveland respectively, that's what they needed to do to win this game, to be in a position to win this game. But he's 270 yards away. He's hit that figure 4 other times this season. They're not going to ever say it out loud because no one's ever stat chasing. But I do think because it would mean so much to Caleb, I do think that there will be a little bit more than a conscious effort to try to get him as close as he can. I think he has a real shot at it.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how the Bears utilize Caleb in this final game. I think to that point, just to finish off the month of December, Ben Johnson said by December we'll be playing our best football. Courtney, when you see what's happening on the field, when you see the high-scoring output that we saw, but some of the struggles defensively, do you feel like the Bears have been able to accomplish that this December and heading into the playoffs here?
I do, at least on one side of the ball. I mean, defensively, the takeaways are there, and that's great, but you have a championship contending offense, an offense that can put up points with the likes of the San Francisco 49ers, who are playing the best offense of anybody in the NFL right now, not just the NFC. And then I think they can go toe-to-toe with the Rams. I think they can go toe-to-toe with the Seattle Seahawks. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm not so sure. So I do think that they have checked that box by and large because they're an 11-win team staring 12 wins in the face. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've accomplished that, but it's not like, there's still a lot of holes in this defense. You're in bend don't break mode against the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago where you're holding the 0 for 5 in the red zone, and then you let the San Francisco 49ers score every trip they get down there this past week. That's a problem. But it's not like we didn't know that these problems existed. It's not like that somebody got hurt, the pass rush all of a sudden disappeared. It hasn't been there. Even when their starting defensive end opposite Montez Sweat, Dio Dangle was playing, he had 1 sack in 8 games. So to me, it's playing your best football, but also mitigating your flaws in the month of December, which is how they've been able to get to this point. And we'll see how long that lasts in the postseason, but it is an accomplishment in a box that they've been able to check.
Do you think it can last all the way to the Super Bowl, to the big game, mitigating the flaws on that defense, maybe with some offensive help?
Tough. It's going to be really tough. They're lucky at this point with the secondary that it's as healthy as it's been in a while. And maybe they get Kyler Gordon back. I know that Ben Johnson didn't rule that out a couple weeks ago. Maybe he's able to come off injured reserve and help this team by the time the playoffs roll around. But it's the best teams can get after the quarterback. I mean, we've seen those game-changing plays. Look at what happened with the Eagles last year in the Super Bowl. Look what happened a couple of years before that with Aaron Donald and the game-wrecking play that he had on the final drive in that Super Bowl. Like, you don't have those guys and you don't have a pass rush to speak of when it's not coming from other places, I think it's hard to win a Super Bowl that way.
No, yeah, it's going to be a tough playoff run no matter what. I mean, listen, it's the playoffs, and we're talking about it, and I think that's the biggest thing. With that being said, the fact that this team has gotten to the playoffs, the fact that this team has won, and like you said, is looking in on 12 wins, Courtney, where do you feel like the Ben Johnson Coach of the Year chances are to finish this season? Is he a viable option at this point, or is he a really good name that kind of gets lost in the mix of a great season?
His odds, when I checked this morning, I think it's like plus 4,000 over at DraftKings, and that would be the furthest odds from Mike Vrabel, from Kyle Shanahan, who I think if you're talking about a coach that's doing more with less, it's Shanahan. He's probably had his best coaching job of his career, doing all of that with Brock Purdy in and out of the lineup, with George Kittle in and out of the lineup, with Brandon Ayuk, AWOL, all of those things. And that's not even mentioning the injuries that they have on defense. But Mike Vrabel seems like he's kind of the lock at this point. And I know that that's another worst to first sort of turnaround, what they've done with Drake May and, the pairing between his offensive coordinator that he handpicked to develop a quarterback. Ben's a great candidate. I mean, the Patriots have had success at the quarterback position during our lifetimes, during the lifetimes of a lot of people. They have not in Chicago. So I think from that alone, and probably because we're close to it, just seeing there's hope that this offense can do things differently than they've done the last 50 years. That's just a different feeling. But it's a great story. I do not think, though, and I think his case is very compelling, but I don't ultimately think he will win that award because of, it's a bad year to be Coach of the Year candidate. There are so many deserving coaches.
We were just talking about it. I think Liam Cohen's another one that the Jaguars are way overperforming, and his odds are way down the board. I think people don't like him very much because of the whole Duval thing at the start of the year.
100%.
And he doesn't get credit for transforming that offense because people think that was weird for some reason.
You got to transform the Duval.
Court, I don't know if you noticed this yesterday, too. Caleb Williams on the MVP odds boards yesterday. He's down to fourth now, but he shot up. His odds are still a long shot, but he shot up to third yesterday on the MVP odds boards. And a topic that was discussed on our morning show this morning was, who do you have more confidence in the playoffs? Is it Ben Johnson or is it Caleb Williams? Because right now, Caleb Williams is looking like he's right there with Ben Johnson for some of these accolades and awards as one of the top quarterbacks right now in the NFL in terms of being clutch and being able to control a game and win games for his team.
Yeah, I would probably say it's the play caller because Ben has the experience. Caleb's a first-time playoff quarterback. And it's not to say that he won't have a big moment in the postseason, but I think I trust the coach who had been there before. I know what happened last year in the divisional playoffs. They got blown out. But Ben has several years of experience of being in the playoffs, of coaching a quarterback in Jared Goff to have career best years to get to the postseason. And I know he put the onus on himself the other day to get the play call in earlier, that Caleb was doing the best he could when that last play turned into a scrambled drill. I think that Ben learns from things like that when there are play calls that he gets out publicly in front of and says, that wasn't good, that's on me. So knowing that and knowing what's at stake here, of you have the Green Bay Packers likely being the team to come to town wild card weekend, I would think that at least the way that I would forecast it, the trust factor, who you believe in more in those moments, while both are great answers, I would say Ben Johnson, just based on the fact that he's been in this moment before.
Courtney, will you forego celebrating New Year's tonight to be celebrating hopefully a Hoosiers win tomorrow?
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. I cannot believe that my team's playing in the Rose Bowl. And, we talked about it on Unsportsmanlike throughout the morning. It's great for college football. Anybody who's looking for a team can look at the little engine that became the 1 seed, because there are people who talk out of both sides of their mouth. They want parity in college football, but not too much parity. They want to see somebody else who's in Alabama win it, but they don't want to see a team like Indiana. They have done everything this year to be deserving of a 1 seed, and they've proven themselves. And I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow. A lot of my friends have already made the trek out to Los Angeles for the game, and while I'll be on the other side of the country, I am hoping that the way the playoff schedule shakes out, that I'll be able to go to the Peach Bowl next Friday if they make it.
Well, let's hope they make it.
My early New Year's resolution. I'll be down there if they make it.
Well, we'll be rooting for you here, Courtney. I appreciate your time and Happy New Year's.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Have a good one. Yo, we got to take a quick break in the action to let you guys know that today's episode, as always, is brought to you by Underdog. Make picks, win money. If you download the app today, sign up with the promo code CBP. You can score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5 bet. That is promo code CBP. Like I said, Underdog, make picks, win money. EOQ, the disclaimer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or over in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I love that my husband's so handy. He leaves more money for the important stuff.
Whoa.
Gosh darn it, Steve.
Ow. Don't be like Steve. Call Avondale Roofing. DIY is for Pinterest, not your roof.